Hello? Hello? Hello, Nero. Or Joe's by. Demuriel, aka Callie. It's a duck you don't see every day. It's a pretty good duck, right? It's a pretty good duck. On a very, very complex movement pattern. Tons of AI. Just goes from position 0 to position wherever the edge of the screen is. Then turns around. Although I think the animation is actually somewhat complex. Because I think that, well, it's more complex than the movement, right? Because it changes I think the head is actually a separate sprite. I don't remember. Which is why it's able to shift almost at random. 8-bit duck. Yeah. Anyways, let's get started. Oh, wait, hold on. What is this? Chat highlight settings. What the heck is a chat highlight setting? Look at all these new features. VIP, I don't have any VIPs. Subscribers, no subscribers. Mentions, yeah, sure. You can send that. Moderator. Wait, no, I don't think I would want mentions to be highlighted. What am I doing? Subscribers also don't get highlighted, sorry. VIPs, I don't have any VIPs. Moderators, there's only the bot. At least I think is the bot? Oh, the bot is a mod. Look at that. I totally forgot I did that. All right, now let's get started. Boom, he's done it. Also, someone submitted a PR for the OBS WebSocket stuff. Look at that. Start tracking stuff on my end. I have 2 new follows from yesterday. That's very strange. Not really sure why. Oh, actually, I just realized as well. Twitch stats. Oh, look at that. And I can put Twitch stats. Oh, I guess that's not really how that works, huh? Look at that. Kind of freaks me out. It's kind of weird though how I can't dock this into my OBS. Oh, actually I totally can dock this into my OBS thing. Although I would like to put this. There, okay. There we go. Click to hide. Subscribers, that's fine. Let's move stuff around. Look at that. So you're gonna make your password logger? I think I am. I'm a bit more distracted today. Mostly because I actually ate before streaming today. Most days I actually just don't eat until like an hour before I go to sleep. Which is why whenever I stream for a longer period of time, I start to go more delirious. One is because, you know, I'm tired, right? Streaming for a long period of time. 2, I'm starting to get extremely inebriated. And 3, I haven't eaten. I don't know why I do this to myself. But yeah, password logger, aka the hotkey system. I think I am. I have an idea for what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is we're going to open up a vertical screen. Look at, it's called input bot, but is this my only window? Yeah. So there's input bot. This is the only one that really gets updated, I think. It's also a little unfortunate because you're not able to just run it as a library, which is unfortunate. And also it doesn't work on Macs, but that's not really my problem. Yeah. So I guess what I could do is vendor the crates. So just include it locally. And then rip out like these inputs, these mod RS kind of things, and then I can pull for inputs. Maybe. Or are these blocking? You know what? These might be blocking. I don't know. Yeah, I know that this is blocking. Handle input events here. Because I did look at or binding this to Godot so I could use it as a GD native library. Right? What is it? It's like starts listening, right? No? Start listening? What is it called? No. It's one of these things. It might just be in the mod RS. Start listening. What was it called? Handle input events, right? Handle input events. Yeah. Which is kind of a pain. But the idea is I'll just write a very, very small like standalone application. What it will do is it'll just run in the background windowless. Right, but then whenever it receives an input, it will then broadcast that on a WebSocket connection. and then vpuppr can catch it. That's the only idea I've got. The alternative is either one, trying to see how OBS does it, which seems like a pain, or two, just write my own, I guess, input handler, aka my own keylogger, which I don't really want to do. You showed your monitor set. That was a shot from me pulling on a 4K monitor. Oh baby, 4K monitor, pretty sick. It does make all your other monitors feel like super low resolution, which is a problem, to say the least. Hold on. We do inputs, okay, Rust. Or is there a C++ header only keylogger? Advanced keylogger, use at your own discretion. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's what I'm doing, right? It's a keylogger. Yeah, it's more or less, maybe not. Keyboard hook. And this is Windows only as well. They all use Windows headers. I don't want to have to do any of the Windows stuff. It's a thing that I don't care about. Undetectable keylogger GitHub. Listen for... I don't even know what I'm looking for, because keylogger, not great. Not great. Auto hotkey. What did I do? That was weird. Auto hotkey library Rust. Probably more ethical ways to do this. Well, I mean, that's essentially what's like system-wide input events are, right? It's a, like, if you have auto hotkey installed on your OS, well, that's assuming you're running Windows. That's a keylogger, right? Setting up these things, right, in OBS. So hotkeys, I mean, that's essentially a keylogger as well, right? Because the fact is that it's listening to your inputs, which is exactly what a keylogger is. All right, yeah, Enigo is not maintained. Is there anything talking about the maintenance? Maintain? I guess input bot is the best one because it's the most recently updated. It's possible though that this is just fine. Key event. Oh, this one panics, I guess. Yeah, there's no one here. All right, let's do it. This is the best I've got. Probably. Auto hotkey, no. Auto hotkey versus Rust compare, no. Yeah, I got nothing. Okay. So we'll close this. We'll create a new cargo project, which probably just call this like input forwarder. So cargo init input forwarder. All right. Virtual Puppet project input forwarder. There we go. Turn on Rust extension, or not the Rust extension, Rust analyzer. I'll just add this here. I think the latest one is, yep, 5.1. So let's grab this. And I think that's it. Then I just need to broadcast on a WebSocket, because that's the only one that this takes. I'm very tempted to use clap, but I think I'm just gonna do command line argument parsing manually. I just gotta remember how to do it. Rust get args. Yes, learn Rust. Give me Rust by example. There we go. Something I never remember how to do. Yeah, standard. env. Hit it with a hello world. That's always good. env collect. Okay. God, he's good. Oh. So it has no idea. So we can do it like this as well, right? Okay. Right, right. And then this does it C style. So the first argument is always the name of the file, right? Something like that. Or the name of the executable. I can only think of things in Python. But here, I think what you would want to do is just execute the binary, right? Spawn a new process, pass in arguments, and then the one argument, all other arguments are always dropped, is, well, no, pass the args like expected arguments are in format. All right. Format 1 is the connection type. So this is like WebSocket. You could have UDP. And that's pretty much it. Well, you could always also do just REST, aka TCP. What is your problem? Found documentation that doesn't document anything. All right, that's fine. Can I do this? All right. Unused doc comment. REST doc does not generate documentation for statements. Yeah, that's fine. Can I turn this off? I know there's a way to turn this off. All right, whatever. We can use a block comment as well. Yeah. This. All right, and then broadcast port. So this broadcasts to a thing. Yeah. So port to connect to slash. Yeah, I mean, it's just the port to connect to no matter what, because it's always going to be localhost. Host will always be localhost. Yeah. So the connection type, so WebSocket, it'll connect to localhost some ports, UDP, localhost some port, and then REST requests or TCP requests, whatever, will also just be localhost on that port. Can you do that? I think yeah you can, yeah, and then it'll just be the roots whatevers. Okay, the roots route. That makes sense to me. Equals. Oh, you're not allowed to do this. Args. Assert args. Size. Is it length? Args length is exactly 3. Okay, then args is equal to right. As vec, into vec, into vec. Am I allowed to do that? No. This is a slice. Okay. That's fine. Whatever. Connection type is args1. We've already verified the size. Are you not allowed to do this? Am I crazy? Borrow it. That's fine. Let's port. Okay, then we have input bot, which was here. It just needs to be very simple. I've been written Rust in a little bit. I apologize. All right, so we want to bind absolutely everything, right? These are examples, that's right. Bind all, yes. Use input bot, keyboard key, and then mouse button. Okay. Keyboard key, oh, that's key sequence. Keyboard key binds all, or just binds. Oh, okay, hold on. This is the develop branch that has not been released yet. What's 5.1? What does 5.1 tag to? God, I hate when people do this. Hold on. Creates 5.1, released about a year ago. That's good. View all tags. There's no 5.1 tag. Okay. So let's look. When did the README get updated to 5.1? When did the README get updated to 5.1? Because I don't want to take a specific commit. That's the 5.0 release. Okay. Ha ha ha. Link and README. Unsafe block. Update dependencies? Man, I don't know. README. And then we'll just go back through the history and see if I can find when this tag... Oh, this isn't even... It's not a hard-coded tag, it's pulling it from crates.io. Okay, that's unfortunate. Which means I don't think I can even look at this. Right? Clean up README. What the heck is this? Nothing. Binds all. Alright, so I don't have a bind all, I think, right? It's just bind. Alright. You know what? We're just gonna pull it directly. But I'll tag it at a specific commit. So that means that this could totally break. Which means we'll fork it. Create a new fork. Fork it to virtual puppet project. Copy the develop branch only. Sure. And then for this, then we will... How do you do this again in Rust? Cargo dependency git. Git. Just git. Sure. What do you got? Version... Okay, cool. So virtual puppet project, HTTPS. We'll grab this. This will grab the latest master, but then I can try to tag it at a commit, which is preferable because you want to have reproducible commits or reproducible builds. The best part. So I think we can do a commit here. Then I'll just have to grab one. Whatever this one was. The latest. Just give me the full hash. Yeah, that's fine, right? I'm allowed to do this? Okay. So then going back to here. Boom, boom. Examples. Auto clicker, nope. This one, keyboard key, binds all. Some sort of event, yep. Match input bot from keyboard key. So if it's some, all right, just to make sure that this makes sense to me, we'll just print line for now, which means I'm just directly copying whatever they're doing. How original. And then, I'm not sure what an unregistered key means. I guess if you have a special keyboard like mine, you can bind just random macros, which might not trigger this properly, because I think this is only registered towards like specific keys, right? Okay, mouse button we don't need. So input bots, and then this is blocking, handle input events. Okay, so cargo run release, and then we can pass in, I don't know, hit me with a quick print line. Connection. And then port. I keep typing prot. All right. Okay. So WebSocket. I don't know. 1, 2, 3. Just let it do its thing, or let it do its thing. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense to me. So then now we'll go into Rust. Oh, geez. WebSocket. There it is. And there you have it. There's a keylogger. Doesn't work with mouse. Oh, it does work with mouse buttons. Look at that. Oh, don't do that. It does work with mouse buttons. Or what's more likely is that my mouse's side buttons are registered as numpads. About key combos. There's shift. There's A. You know what? There are no key combos. This is shift. This is space. Okay, hold on. This might not be usable then. Key sequences. Key sequence. That's hello world. Hey? Is there no other library? Hold on. I thought that this handled shift. Yeah. Maybe this is outdated at this point. Like key combos, it doesn't matter if this reports the key combo to me. All I need to do is report, you know, which keys are pressed, and then I can match them on the vpuppr side. But if we look here, yeah, up, down. Is it because I'm using a non-standard keyboard? Oh, just type here. Unregistered. Is there something else that I need to bind? So we can kill this. That's fine. So keyboard binds all. Keyboard binds all. Keyboard. Keyboard common? No. Public. So keyboard key, sure. Do I need to specifically bind for key and keyboard iter? Sure. Fire, move, call back. No, it should have bound everything, right? Like I don't need to specifically bind all inputs. Bind all. Okay, so how do you bind just a specific key? Examples. Blockable key sequence. I've already looked at this. Blockable binds. I don't know what this means. Okay. Blocks the A key when left shift is held. Note, callbacks for blockable binds won't be executed in new threads. For long running processes, create new threads inside the callback if needed. Eh? Degenerate. True, that's true. I do have a very degenerate schedule. Most of my bodily functions schedules are pretty degenerate. Keyboard key. Then I have access to everything, so we can do L shift key. Bind. Block bind. Bind. Blockable bind. The example demonstrates blocking input with conditional flags, such as another key being pressed or toggled. This example currently does not work on Linux. All right, well, it doesn't matter. I just need to bind stuff. So event. And then we want to match input. Well, we know exactly what the key is, right? Wait, what the heck? Bind, callback. Yeah. But then, how do I know? Okay, now I'm thinking more. Now I'm thinking more. Hold on. So if we just print line left shift, all right, just because, just to see if it works. Unregistered. That's good. I guess the library is broken, so I can't even do it. You know, this might need to just be like an auto hotkey kind of thing. Nope, there's left shift. So bind all. Oh, wait. No, wait. Bind all binds to characters? Lurk, yeah. If only there was a lurk function. This library seems kind of jank. It's almost as if I wrote it. is pressed. No. Mouse cursor. No. Keyboard procedure. No. Mouse procedure. No. Set hook. Send mouse input. No. Send keyboard input. No. Bot down. Oh, is the bot down? Did the bot go down in between then and now? Oh, the bot did go down. It happens. These things happen. Huh. So this is able to capture inputs, but whenever I bind man, that's weird, dude. This is mouse button. This is binds all from keyboard key. This takes a function callback, or takes a keyboard key as its parameter. Fire. Kind of standard of other programs to not let you bind everything because they simply didn't code it. Well, I mean, I'm looking at this, right? And this looks like this should just work, like it, right? Because it's just looping through every single keyboard key. So all keyboard keys are defined here, which includes left shift, which I've done here. Left shift key, you can kind of see in the code there. And then binds all, yeah, for key in keyboard key iter, it takes the function, clones it, moves it into this thing here, and then creates an atomic reference count with whatever the callback was, right? From keyboard key. Wait a minute, hold on. If I just do this then, hold on. What if I just don't match it and I just hit it with a, just hit me with a, oh wait, this isn't gonna work. No, because you need to know what the keyboard key is, right? Well, maybe it'll still work. We can just try to force it to display. I'm not sure if these do implement display though. Oh yeah, there we go. It's ugly. It's ugly. Yeah, but there you go. Okay, I was like 100% overthinking it, but that seems like a bug in inputbot. Yeah. So the, oh geez. That's a bug. That's a bug. Oh, hello. Pixarsis? Arses. Nice name. You got me to curse on stream. Let's see. Keyboard key. And then from, what was I doing? From get keyboard key. From keyboard key. Look at that. It's not implemented. Why is it not implemented? That's why it's not working. I guess it's because it's not an actual key, it's a modifier. Interesting. I suppose that makes sense. Python, xarses. Pi is silent. Nice. Actually, the pi goes. Get it? Because Pythons go. I was about to say Pythons go rattle, but that's that's not even in the name. Rattlesnakes go rattle. Although, actually, isn't there like a snake? It's not a rattlesnake, but they'll like rub their scales together against each other to do roughly the same thing as a rattlesnake, but they don't even have a rattle. It's just them like scraping their scales together. You know what I'm talking about? There is, yes, yeah. I've seen a rattlesnake, yeah, before. I've seen many rattlesnakes before. They're pretty cool. Also very nerve-wracking because, you know, you're just out in the wild and it's like, oh, you know what? I'm assuming you didn't bring maracas here. So it's probably a snake. But the fact that you can't see it is like extremely nerve-wracking. But the fact that it's also rattling is, you know, concerning as well. All right, that's good. So this works. Connected. So then go to WebSocket. Is this an official crate? Or is this something that just one person uses? Okay, Rust WebSocket, 1.2 thousand thingies. Maintainership of this project is sluggish. What is tungstenite or Tokyo tungstenite? I don't need this to be super cool. I just need it to work. Tungstenites. Is this 1.1? And they did tell me I should be using this. But yeah, what I'm working on, PyArses. I'm just gonna call you PyArses. As I'm working on this program here. Look at this, how cool. Recently updated to Godot 3.5. That reminds me, I do need to update this thing. But it works. It uses all of the Xar. Call you Xar. Because I'm not really sure how to pronounce just a raw X. But yeah, it works with this. If I have Meowface, it will also work. OpenCFace works as well, but I'm not going to show you that because I'm currently using it for my other program, which is currently driving the duck. You do this. One of these. One of those. Wow. How cool. How cool. XAR. That's like 3 syllables though. That's such a long name. I'll just call you X. Because you're presumably gonna give it to me. Ooh. What is tungstenites? Lightweight stream-based WebSocket implementation for Rust. Full duplex. Okay, we'll look at Tokyo. Tokyo tungstenite. So this is using Tokyo. Do I need to use Tokyo? I just need to create a socket, and then I just need to send. I don't need to receive. I just need to send. Okay. Or is Rust WebSocket easier to use? Like July 24th is fine. That's good enough. What are the examples for this? Clients. Yeah, we're just a client and we just need to send. Connecting to blah blah. Client builder, protocol, Rust WebSocket, connect and secure, that's fine. Wouldn't it be easier to use your extension system? I mean, yeah, this is gonna be, well, the receiver is gonna be implemented using the extension system, right? And then the extension system, right, what executes this standalone binary, which would then start broadcasting back to the extension. So it's kind of weird, right? So the idea is, you know, we'll have vpuppr here. So vpuppr, then we have some sort of, I guess the hotkey extension. Xerxes? Oh, Sarces. Sarces? Not familiar with Sarces, but Xerxes, I know that. I've seen 300 twice. It's a pretty good movie. It's one of those movies where if you just want to like turn your brain off, it's excellent. Yeah, so the vpuppr, the hotkey extension is there, blah blah. So when we start it, it will start the standalone keylogger. We'll call it input forwarder. Input forwarder. Input forwarder will then start a WebSocket client. Okay, well, U also starts a WebSocket server, right? So a hotkey extension starts the input forwarder and then also starts a WebSocket server. Input forwarder starts a WebSocket client, or I guess it'll just connect back to this, right? So I'm doing a horrible UML chart diagram. Or it's not a UML chart diagram because it's not like class hierarchies, but I'm doing a really bad job of explaining the flow. Right, and then the client goes back to here. Right, and then you have like a little, basically a keylogger. Little keylogger inside here. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That makes sense to me. Because that's essentially what I'm doing for OpenCFace. Right, OpenCFace starts a UDP server, and then also starts the OpenCFace just tracker. Then the tracker doesn't have a UDP client. It just opens a UDP socket and then broadcasts, and then I catch it. I catch whatever data is on that port. Is that the send keystrokes? It is the send keystrokes. Because as it turns out, it's very difficult to implement hotkeys, right? Like hotkeys are easy if you have the window focused. But the problem here is that I don't have the window focus, right? It's like here, I can have hotkeys. So if I press escape, I can make the UI show up or disappear. But if I do not have the window focus, see, now I'm just mashing escape. Can't see anything. Right. I thought it'd be pretty easy because, like I showed off before, right? I can load in this model and track using a mouse logger, right? It looks pretty good. So you can see that my mouse is now, you know, I no longer am focused on this screen. So usually, you know, you can see here, I press escape, UI shows up, or UI shows up, goes away. But then if I click off onto Chrome here, I'm mashing escape, you can't see anything, or nothing happens, right? Because I'm not able to catch it, but I can still get mouse input. That's because I think mouse input is just, it's not considered like a secure thing, right? Like, what are you gonna do with mouse logs, right? There's not too much you can do with mouse logs. Because then there's also like the differences between devices, like am I using input acceleration or not, et cetera, right? I don't use input acceleration. At least I don't think I use input acceleration. Mouse isn't secure, yeah. And I think keyboard input is considered like privileged information, which means that I need to do this instead, which is a huge pain, which is why I am struggling with this Rust stuff. I do enough Rust to be dangerous, but I don't write Rust on the regular. It's just not something I like to do. Okay. So which implementation is better? So there's Rust WebSockets. And then there's also, where was Tokyo? Did I close it? Am I stupid? No. I mean, I am stupid, but just move back to here. Just one window. Can you change the bone of the mouse tracker? Can be used as a hand tracker? Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could. I would have to think about it though, because there's no built-in IK. So I would need to set up some IK myself. And there are some people out there who are working on that, or they were working on it for Godot 3. I think they've recently ported all their stuff over to Godot 4. Yeah, I could think about it. Would be cool. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I saw a not terrible key forwarder a bit ago in Go, I think, but that's for sending key codes, not fully key logging. Yeah. Well, it's like looking at the implementation, right? It doesn't look super duper difficult. It's just more of a pain than I'm willing to figure out, right? Like, because you need to interface with the Windows API, and then there's also specific X11 APIs, because I think this only works on X11. If you use Wayland on Linux, it's not going to work. Yeah, this uses xlib on Linux. Oh, and you know what? On Linux, this won't work unless you run as root, because you need sudo, because it's privileged information. Interesting. Interesting. Right. Tungstenite. Is this one easier or is this one easier? All right, so this is the server, but I just need to, I need to send. I don't need to listen. I just need to send. So how do I create a client? I was looking at an example, wasn't I? Yeah, client. Yeah, this one actually looks pretty easy. This one looks pretty easy. Let's use Tungstenite RS. Let's use Tungstenite RS. All right, but I think input bot, that's good enough. I have the key code, right? And then I just need to have the event properly handled. Right, so we have your events, and then we can just turn this into a string and then send it over WebSocket. So we also do need to start a WebSocket there, which means I need to do a multiple sender, or what is it called? Multiple, no. What's it called? Multiple senders, single sender, multiple reader? In Rust, what is MPSC, right? So I use standard thread MP. No, is it not that? Is it called, what is it called? What is it called? Or is it IO? MPSC. What is it called? Repository. You had an example. MPSC, oh, it's a standard sync, not IO. How does OBS do? I think OBS does it manually, from what I could tell, which is really tough. Yeah. Use a channel. Interface with OS drivers. Yeah, so it's basically what I was showing, right? Is that it would need to, it probably interfaces with the Windows API, which is what InputBot does for me, right? This library here that I'm using. Or with X11 lib, or xlib, whatever it's called on X11. And I'm not even sure if hotkeys work. So do OBS hotkeys work on Wayland and Linux? Because I know that Wayland is super secure by default, which is nice from like a sandbox perspective, but from like a, you know, we want to have global inputs makes it very tough. Pretty sure they do. Well, I'll think about it when the time comes. I don't really want to spend too much time writing that kind of stuff. All right, Tungstenite. This is crates IO 17.3. We'll just get the latest patch version. All right, so I don't need a server. I just need a client. Okay, so we can start a thread and then also pass in the MPSC thing here. So kind of taking what WebSocket RS is doing. So create a client. let socket response headers, and then it just loops here. That's fine. This is also a loop, so there's nothing I can do there. So let mute socket. I guess response is fine. Yeah. Tungstenite connect request. Okay, and then URL. Where am I going to grab URL? Is that just something I can get? Use URL. Is URL like a just a library? Is that a crate? Oh my god, it is. Okay, like what the heck? What is this supposed to implement? What is request? Into client's request. Interesting. Tried X11. Being done in Hugo, I can just copy and paste the README files for the build instructions. Nice. Thank you for working on the site. Much appreciated. All right, let's grab URL just so it's easy. Although it doesn't Rust have its own standard net IP address? Yeah. Socket address. Socket address. That's probably what I want, right? And it's a TCP socket as well, but it doesn't matter. Right, so I can do socket address from string, sure. From string, and then we can do 127. Don't show anyone this. This is my personal IP address. And port. Am I allowed to do this? I'm assuming that socket address v4 is probably fine. Maybe not. Trait bound into client request is not satisfied. All right, like, okay. What implements into client's request? Because I'm not allowed to implement. I could. I don't want to do my own new type stuff. I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy. I don't want to do it. I don't want to create a new type and then implement it myself. Examples, clients. Please don't be using let's do it. URL. Oh my god, they are using it. All right, fine. We'll grab URL. Everyone loves dependency trees. 2, 1. Optional, no. And then, okay. URL parse. Hey. Parse. Probably this, right? And then it needs to be WebSocket, blah, blah. That's not fine. Traits bound, really? Really? What else do you need? Oh, I need to unwrap it, that's right. Wait a minute. Does that mean socket address would have worked as well? Socket address. From string. Oh, this does give me a result. Oh, so I probably didn't need this at all. What do you know? Turns out I should read the documentation. From string, and then we'll just unwrap it, and then let it explode. Right? No? Okay. Come on, man. Oh, that's because this needs to be unwrap as well. Every problem can just, yeah, more unwraps. I don't think that's the problem, though. I think the problem is that I need to be using URL. I don't want to use on URL, though. I wanted this to be, like, really, really sparse. I guess not, though. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, hell, needle mouse. Hello, hello. Sorry, I'm getting super twisted here. I don't want to do... This is my last resort. Right. This is the structure, which is actually how OpenC Face works in this program. Right. It works very similarly. Except, like, you're not going to find a fully functioning keylogger on GitHub, so I need to write my own. Okay. So I think that the Tokyo RS one actually had... Yeah, MPSC. That's fine. Yeah, or Futures Channel MPSC Unbounded. Whatever. So I don't actually need the receiver. I just need to be able to send. So that's TXRX is equal to channel. That's fine. There's some sort of channel. And I think if I just say that these are going to be strings, yeah, and then when we run the socket, we can run it, I guess, like this. Yeah. Standard thread spawn or thread. I actually don't like importing functions as either. That just might be the Java weirdo in me not liking it though. Look at my game. Found a good level editor to use with Raylib. Is it TLDK? Not any that doesn't also send the keys. Somewhere sketchy. Yeah. At least with this, it should be pretty easy. Hopefully, maybe. I mean, I've looked at the implementation for InputBot, and InputBot seems fine. And then you're watching me write this right now. So, how bad could it be? All right. Right, so this gives me, what does this give me? This gives me a sender and receiver, yeah. So, no receiver, we just need the send. No, we need to give the socket thread. So here, we'll do, I guess we should do join thread is thread spawn, or join handle, sorry. So spawn, I guess what is the loop? Yeah, so then message match, and then we'll move the receiver here. So receive whatever, and then if we receive something, we want to send something on the socket. Yes. He's beginning to believe. Yes. So here, sockets, socket write message, yes. So then socket write message, message. All right, what does message need to be? Send a message to a stream. What is a message? What are you using? Message. Oh, I need to construct a new message. That's good. Tungstenites. Tungstenites. Tungstenite message. Tungstenite message. Text. M. Right. That's probably fine, and then if there's an error, I have no idea. Are you allowed to, do you continue from these or no? Wait, hold on. Wait, no, that is right. Guess we'll just return. Which means we don't even need to have this in the first place. Yeah, actually. Yeah, we just need to receive, right? And that's fine. And that's your handle. Okay. Then here, send. Send the event. Hold on. Send the pretty printed events. Maybe. What's your problem? Oh, sorry. Is it formats? What is it called? Format? What's the macro format? Or is that only in Golang? Formats. Yeah. All right, that's fine. That's not fine. Sender string cannot be shared between threads safely, please. Sender string cannot be shared between threads safely. Cannot be shared between threads safely. I remember seeing this before. LDTK, yeah. I was close. It was one of those 4-letter acronyms that starts with an L. So I kind of know what the problem is here. I'm just a little confused as to how to make it work. Because I remember I was running into this before in Godot, but I thought it's just because Godot wasn't like you couldn't put it on a thread and then also receive it. But I guess this is already a move statement. Move. It's implicitly moving the function callback. Because it's iterating through every single one of these. But I need a way to... I need a way to handle this. How the heck do normal people do this? How does anyone else use input bot? Does anyone else use this? Rust is scarily abbreviated. It's not really that abbreviated. It's like abbreviated to a normal amount, in my opinion. Is this how I make this bigger? Yeah. So there's like env args. That's pretty normal. MPSC. I mean, that's multiple producers, single consumer. I think that's just something that you just need to know. URL is URL. Universal resource locator. Bet you didn't know that one. RX is just because I called it RX because everyone just calls it RX. Yeah. Once I get back into the swing of writing Rust, I feel a lot better. But it's one of those things where if you just... It's like riding a bike, right? Well, no, it's absolutely not like riding a bike. Riding a bike, you never forget. Rust, I forget almost immediately because I don't write it enough. And it's different enough from like most programming patterns. AKA just either scripts or object-oriented. URI, well, URI is different, right? URI is a universal resource identifier. And then the difference between URI and URL is very slight, but there is a difference, right? So most people just use them. Most people use URI and URL interchangeably. What did I call this? Input forwarder? Input forwarder. Oh, I haven't pushed it yet, that's right. But should still have input bots. Where's my input bot? View organization, input bot. Did I not fork it? Ooh. Wait, did I not fork it? Yeah? Yeah. Here we go. Input bot. Okay, so what's the problem here? Why am I not able to put this here? Should I be cloning it? That doesn't make sense to me though. Right? Because this is just a... So it moves it and then creates... It binds it, normal bind. What the heck is a bind? Where does bind come from? Bind. That's a key sequence. Bind. I'm looking for bind. What is this? Bind? Normal bind? Is that a normal thing? Or it's not a normal thing, a standard library thing? URI is always complete. URL can assume defaults. Oh, the more you know. The more you know. You learn something new every day. A hello, Raticide. What a shame. Or are people actually attracted to this stream because I'm not doing Godot stuff? I'm not obviously doing Godot stuff. But instead I'm just losing my mind trying to figure out how to make this work. Rust is good for brainlets like me, who, whenever I write C code, I mostly just leak memory like crazy. So the only foolproof C programs I'm somewhat confident in, like I wrote a game that was entirely like on the stack, so there was like a ton of like copies or whatever. Almost never did any pass-by references, but that's fine. I'm here for Rust. Well, luckily for you, I do write better Rust thingies. Ignore that. So I did write a lip sync thing in Rust, and here's one of the tracker implementations also in Rust. Mouse tracker, look at that. Wow, but can also bind to Meowface or whatever. But hold on, I'm trying to figure this out. How did you figure out that this is Rust from the the preview, or just clicking through streams? Okay, so sync is not implemented for sender string, required because of the implementation of send for. So I guess I could clone this. So maybe for this we could do this. We could do this manually. Right. So for key in keyboard key. So we'll just do exactly what they're doing. Am I not allowed to do this? Can I not just call iter on this implicitly? Following trait is into enum iterator. I mean, it is an enum. Oh, is this like a strum thing? Oh my god. Oh, I don't want to use strum. But then I also don't have a great way of iterating through every single enum. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. We can import strum. See, this is just... All right, we'll grab strum as well. Very nice. Is it using Bevy or WGB? I click on it. No, this is just using. So this is the structure. So this is Godot actually. This is Godot, which is C++ plus GD scripts, and then I'm binding things at runtime. So runtime loading DLLs and or SOs. So in order to implement hotkeys, I need this. So this is the structure. This is vpuppr. That's the application. This should be vpuppr, virtual puppet project. Hotkeys, that's loaded as an extension. So we'll start the WebSocket server. We'll start input forwarder, which is this program here. Input forwarder starts the keylogger, and then it also starts a WebSocket client. The WebSocket client needs to connect to the WebSocket server, and then the keylogger starts on its own thread. And then the keylogger will just forward all keys that are logged to the WebSocket server, which then vpuppr reads, and that's how I'm going to implement hotkeys. So it's not as nice and tidy as how OBS does it, but you know, that's just how it is. All right. So strum. I'm assuming that there's no macro for this, right? Yeah, there's bind all, but I don't want to do bind all. What does just regular bind do? What is bind? Keyboard binds. Yeah, what is just bind? Huh. Smart enough to bind external libraries to Godot. Sounds cool. Thank you. Well, I mean, it's. I was struggling with figuring out how to handle this personally, but then it occurred to me that like this is the exact same structure that I've implemented for OpenCFace, which is the previous version. Blah blah. It works almost the same way, except OpenCFace uses a UDP socket instead of a WebSocket. But I just need to figure out this bit. So I'm probably just going to import strum so that I can access this stuff. I'm not actually sure if that's how strum works. I know what strum does. It makes it a lot nicer to work with this kind of stuff. So I think I can just import this. Strum. I don't know. Just give me this. Give me this. Okay, he's done it. Okay. So then we'll go back to this implementation. I'm just ripping it out basically. And then we'll write my own callback, right? Write my own callback. What the heck is keyboard binds? Keyboard binds. Creates common. Oh, good. Creates common. What the heck is keyboard binds? It's a lazy mutex. Oh. I said that as if I knew it. Input bot keyboard common common use crates. These are public. Are they not being exposed? Public static keyboard binds. Key sequence keyboard binds. Okay, I guess I could just vendor it and then modify it to suit my needs. What's the license? It's MIT. So you can run the small component as admin? Yeah. So you could run it independently as well, I guess. So Godot thing watches your webcam to move the puppet. I'm a lazy mutex. I think we're all lazy mutexes. Yeah. So it watches your webcam. Virtual Puppet project is the successor because, you know, OpenCFace is its own project, or it's its own tracker. So it doesn't make much sense to add like an iFacial mocap tracker. Or Meowface is the easiest one for me because I don't need to stick my iPad in front of my face. So you can do like this. Wow, look at that. And then to demonstrate, look at that. Oh no. Let's see. I'm still looking at my webcam, but then I have my phone in my hand. So if I just move my phone around, I can trick the camera into thinking I'm moving my head. So yeah. All this stuff is available free and open source. There's a GitHub repository here. This is OpenCFace GD. Hold on, what did I do with this? Did it crash? Or did I just close it without thinking? I do that sometimes. Let's see. Here's the GitHub. Yeah, if you want to check out the project, give me stars, whatever. So let's see. Maybe I'm thinking about this in the wrong order. But also, because input bots. Wait, hold on. These are not exposed. Why are you like this? Okay. Okay. I don't know why they're making this so hard. Look, I never used Godot, but I've done a lot of Rust. Now see how like we're kind of in the opposite. Well, I have been paid to write Rust and Python, so that was a while ago. It was also just a very weird project, so yeah, it's weird though. It's when I was interviewing them, they were impressed because they couldn't find people who could do both Python and Rust. They could only find people who could either only do Rust or only do Python, which the Python, only doing Python makes sense. Only doing Rust? Huh? Can't do Python? If you can do Rust, I would think you'd be able to do Python. But maybe that's just too much to ask. Okay, so yeah, so this is some sort of mutex. Can I just create my own? I don't think I can. They're making this difficult. They're making this difficult. Because I know what I want. I want to do this. Should I just clone the... No, right? Right? Can you do this? Yeah, no. Like, I know the senders are fairly cheap, more or less. Senders are cheap, but never got paid for Rust. All the jobs I find are crypto. Yeah, that's what I was getting paid for. That place is going under though. They were recently in the news. It was in the top 2 exchanges in the United States, and I think it was top 3 worldwide. Recently under a lot of controversy though. I left because I could tell the project was dying. We paid for Python, yeah. We paid for Python, paid for Golang. I like Golang. Lots of people don't though, but I think that's because like a lot of tools, or a lot of people who write Golang don't know how to write Golang, so they write it like they would like Java, and that's not what Golang is good at. I try Crossbeam instead. Yeah, see, I think the problem is more that it's because of how this is implemented. It's making it really tough for me to send. It's making it really tough for me to send. What if I make this? What if I make it static? Am I allowed to do that? So we could do like a use lazy static, create the sender and receiver, and then it's just kind of always available. What is it called? Lazy static? Rust. Lazy static. Lazy static. Yeah, I don't think Crossbeam will make a difference. Yeah. Like, I just need this to be available across the entire application. Like, yeah, whatever global variables, but it's a very tiny application, right? I just need to be able to set up a WebSocket, or potentially also a UDP socket or just a TCP server, probably using just query, so not even a TCP server. It's just, I need to send requests. But this thing is just blowing my mind. Probably if it's not send, you can implement send yourself. Oh, can I? You can't do that, right? Because that breaks several rules, right? Or it's mostly like the orphan class, orphan struct rule, something like that. So if you hit it with like an unsafe impl send for, or standard sync mpsc sender string. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that, right? Yeah. Send is just a flag, there's no code. Yeah, but you can't, I don't do it. What I could do, I guess I could do a new type. I could do a new type, so Send wrapper. Something like that. And then we can do, am I not allowed to do that? Oh. I should probably like input the crate, huh? Or I should fully qualify the imports up here since I'm using it so often. All right, we don't need strum anymore. Now that I know that input bot doesn't expose the things I actually need. Okay, then we can do this. And then we can do this. Am I not allowed to do that? Tuple. Oh, sorry. Wait, no, you can do that, right? That is, wait. Sender string. Oh, send wrapper, sorry. Send wrapper. Send wrapper. And then we pass that to you. Sender. Struct is only send if all of its fields are send. Okay, well. Well, okay, so then how do I implement send for sender? Because it's not my type. I don't think you can. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying, is I don't think you can't just do that. You can't just do that. I know you can do, there's some fancy deref stuff you can do. There's some fancy deref magic that you can do, but I don't know enough. Is there another project? Is there someone that's using this? Because these examples don't show enough, right? Because these are all just prints, but then how do you use it? Yeah, because most of this is just for like auto hotkey kind of stuff. Well, you can do it, but I might do weird and bad things. Well, okay, like how do you do it then? See, that's my question, right? Is that you're not allowed to, because I don't own the type, right? So this doesn't work, right? Because only traits define blah blah. It's not, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Only traits defined in the current crate can be implemented for types defined outside of the crates. You have to wrap it. Yeah, so that's what I've done, right? Is I have struct send wrapper, so I've wrapped it. But then you can't do that. Well, because now then I still get the same error because the inner field still does not implement send. So I can send the struct, but I can't send the field inside of it. It'll probably crash. No, it will not allow me to run at all, because the compiler will complain about it. Required by a bind, or by a bound and bind all. Okay, fine. Fine, we'll do this. We'll do it your way. Let's do this. We'll clone this. All right, we'll clone you. All right, I guess I really should just vendor it, but whatever. Input bot. Sync you're missing? No? Is it? It's not sync I'm missing, right? It's still complaining about send. Right? I'm like 90% sure. Like, I could be wrong. Sender is send but not sync. Is it? I don't think that's right. Because that's not what it was complaining about. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. And then unsafe impl sync for send wrapper. Yeah, so you're still, it's sync. Oh. Well, either way. Sync, send, whatever. It's the same difference. VTube Studio have perfect synced or just IFM? What's MF? Mother fricker? Sync is if you share between send is to move it to another thread. Well, I am moving it to another thread, right? I'm pretty sure like this does use a move call, but that's not going to work in any case because I've just tried. It's for the same reason, right? You're not allowed to implement traits on external types like that. And I'm pretty sure like send and sync are like are special, right? Yeah. So if we just go into public and just change change this, I suppose the worst that could happen is a seg fault. I don't know. Like, what happens if I do this? Are there other bounds that I'm missing? So we just say, nah, we don't need that. Miss me with that? Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. Oh, because it's a atomic reference counts. But then it's because we're calling bind. What the heck is bind? Input bot. Bind. No, that's fine. Bind handler. Like, yeah, I get it, but we just get rid of this. So it's another thread is the whole point of it to talk between threads. Yeah. Meow face. I don't know what VTube Studio has. I know that VC face has a lot of possible inputs. All right. I don't know. I feel like I'm starting to lose my mind. I'm missing something very easy here. I know that. But what specifically, I'm just not getting it. Do I just need to... Because you can't do this, right? If we do unsafe impl sync for this thing, you're not allowed to do that. Well, hold on. Maybe you are? Yeah, no. Yeah. Or this isn't the sender, this is the... Wait. Yeah, this has to be the sender, because here we want this to send, but only traits... Fine, implement... Yeah. So we do a new type, then we can do this, but then we still run into this problem here, where sender string cannot be shared between threads safely. Sync is not implemented for this, so we'll just Google it. Yeah, I don't think using lazy static would make a difference. See, I've looked at this before. Sender cannot be shared between threads. Design a channel intends that you clone the sender and pass it to a value to a thread. For each thread, you move to move. Should I be moving? Should I be moving this? Which means I don't even need the send wrapper. I can just use, I guess tx direct. Oh, geez. I can just use tx directly. Is that how that works? No, you're not allowed to do that. Sender, sync, not implemented, but then I can't implement it. So then we look at sender 0, but then we still run into the same problem because sync is not implemented for the field. Your problem is somewhere else. Sender doesn't need to be sync, but it does need to be sync. It does need to be here because of how input bot works. Like the problem is in this closure, right? I know this is the problem. I just don't really know how to solve it. And so I thought that having this be in its own thing would be fine. Yeah. So this function needs to be send, sync, and copy. But the examples are also garbage, or they're extremely basic because all they do is print the standard out. Lockable bind, unbind. When would you ever unbind? That doesn't make any sense. Input bot example. Let me just see if I can look for an example then. Input bot example. I need an example of this that's not one of these built-in examples. But all the examples are just for pressing. These are not comprehensive either. Wait, send? Key sequence send. No, that sends a key sequence to your keyboard as if you typed that, which is not what I want. And all these other things are, you know, that's fine, right? Is that they emulate button presses. Sounds like bind all sucks. I think the entire thing is just not built for what I want it to do. Like, I know what everything else needs to do, but I also don't want to go into the code and just change how it works. That sounds very scary. But I'm like not super sure what the heck these are doing, right? Public static, whatever. This is a lazy mutex of a keybind map, sure, which is some sort of hash map to some sort of bind, where the bind is some sort of enum that contains these types here. But I'm not sure if you're allowed to just remove traits from these. Maybe I can. That doesn't seem sensible to me though. Like, and I'm also pretty sure I don't want to set up a new channel for every single one of these. We do let tx equals tx. Like, you're supposed to clone it. I know that's how you're supposed to do this, but that's not, still not working. Sender string cannot be shared between threads safely. Sure, but I'm cloning it. Sender string. Sync is not implemented for sender string. Sure. And then I looked up this thing. Sender string cannot be sent. All right, let's just investigate then to the depths of Stack Overflow. Moving receiver. No, I need the sender. Sending to channels from threads. No. Sender cannot be shared between. Yes. Crossbeam has multi-sender support, so you can clone the sender. So whatever bind all it does, it runs on multiple threads, is never going to work. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But then that leaves me in a pickle, right? Because all of the other implementations in it do roughly the same thing. So what I could do is I could rip out all the other, like I could rip out the inner, like the platform specific implementations from InputBot, right? Which is just Windows and Linux. Not great. How do these even work? And And then from this, I could write my own system, but this looks somewhat concerning, I guess. Like, and I also don't want to do this. Like, if this is how it's gonna work, maybe I could just write like an auto hotkey thing, but that doesn't sound good either. I'd rather just have something that... Why is it so hard to do this? Just a little standalone application, just a few lines that just broadcasts. It just mirrors your inputs. I don't know why that's so hard. Crossbeam is sync. All right, let's try crossbeam. What is crossbeam? Crossbeam creates IO. All right, crossbeam. We'll use crossbeam. Just give me the... I always just take the minor version. I don't care about the patch version. I don't think I've ever really been burned by upgrading to the latest patch. So this is 8.2. Oh, this is crossbeam utils. What the heck? You never want to look at the... Okay, that's fine. I always use it instead. Okay, sure. Then we can look into this. I'm assuming that we're going to use channel. I don't know. Just give me the basics. Okay. So mouse button, not needed. Use crossbeam channel. Don't I need to... This isn't actually how you're supposed to import it, right? Yeah. Well, that's fine. Give me crossbeam channel instead of just big crossbeam. Since that's the only thing that we're using from it, right? Crossbeam channel. It's, yeah, that's probably it, right? Crossbeam channel, bounded sender. Okay. See, I've seen crossbeam a lot, but I've just never looked into it. Bounded or unbounded, yeah. It doesn't really matter, right? Isn't it like you want to use bounded over unbounded? Yeah, well, it doesn't matter anyways, right? Because we're just immediately sending it anyways. So we don't need the send wrapper. None of this garbage. Send wrapper, say goodbye. Okay, so sender, receiver is some sort of bounded. Probably need to turbofish this, yeah. I just like saying turbofish. It's a fun word. Oh, am I not allowed to do that? Takes one argument, sure. Oh, a size, and then you want to do with size. Just, isn't it bounded 0 immediately sends? Yeah. So blocks and then immediately sends. That's fine. To type fast to fill it up. Yeah. Well, we're just gonna send immediately. Like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, this is a completely standalone application. So, RX doesn't exist, but then this is just the receiver, receive, sender, send. Oh, what do you know? You're totally right. You are totally right. Unused results that must be used. From where? Receive. Yeah, I am using it, right? Yeah. It gives me a T or a nothing. Oh, or is it this write message that gives me a result? Oh, that's right. And then we'll just unwrap. Or we can expect. Why not? Unable to write to WebSocket. So there's only a WebSocket implementation for now. I'm assuming that send, okay. Okay, yeah, you were totally right. I should have listened to you at the very start. I didn't realize that they were, there was that big of a difference. So expect unable to send, unable to begin sending on WebSocket. To begin sending on WebSocket. Yeah. Okay, sure. The handle, it doesn't really matter, right? Like I should be using it, but I'm not going to. Yeah, because this just blocks anyways. And then you have to manually kill it. But this will break unless I have a WebSocket running somewhere. So let me set up a really quick WebSocket. Just set up another one. Receiver. Main RS. What was I using? I was using tungstenite. Oh, I'm not even checking the response, but that's fine. So tungstenite. Server. So I just need to listen really quickly. So server equal TCP. Please rest analyzer. Standard net TCP. Okay. Or is it just not being seen, right? So we need to do, is it bin name? Receiver, and then the, is it path is supposed to be source receiver main RS. Yeah, okay. I can't believe I was able to do that from memory. TCP listener bind to, I don't know, 127.0.0.1. I always like binding to 9999 because that's an easy one to bind to. It is also very easy. All right, and then we'll just copy whatever you're doing, right? Yeah, just let me, well, that's fine. In server incoming, returns an iterator over the connections being received on this listener. Yeah, okay. Just give me this. give me whatever you're doing here. I don't really feel like retyping this. All right. Which means, what's your problem? Where is it? Oh, env logger. Get out of here. Okay. So bind to 9999. Then we'll just send it. Where's my other terminal? There's Godot 4. We're not quite there yet. Input, forwarder, cargo, run, bin. What did I call it? Receiver. Phenomenal. Oh. And then input forwarder, cargo run, release. Oh, whoops. With a default run manifest key. Oh, okay. What's the default run manifest key? Cargo, toml, default, run. I suppose that's fair enough. I've never really thought about it. The fact that you could define multiple binaries means that you would also need to have some sort of default run. Okay. What's default run? Default run to a default binary. Okay. And then package default run sender back to here. That might work. I don't know. We'll see. Process blah blah connection thread main unwrap on an error value invalid ports. That's fair enough. Okay. So invalid port. Yeah, that's good. So we're able to parse all the arguments, blah, blah, 34. 34, wait. Oh, it's probably here. So we run it again. Yeah, okay. So 32, connect, invalid port. Did I not pass 9999? Okay, sure. Then let's just hard code it for now. Okay, well, then we don't even care about this, right? It's still doing the prints, but then we should see. Oh no, hold on. Oh, is this not? So if I kill this, this is also going to die, right? Yeah, okay. Then it just dies. That's fine. If it compiles, it works. Yeah, something like that. Headers. I just need this to log now. So spawn move. Received a new blah blah. This is the request. So then I just need to print line. I desire to know what's inside the request. Sure. What do I have? Into body match method. Just give me the body, please. Turns a reference to the. Or do you think that this just implements display? Please implement display so I don't need to make a fool of myself. That would be beautiful if it just works. Okay. All right, so you do your thing, and then you do your thing, and then I'll just start typing. Nothing. Oh, wait, no, that's the initial handshake. All right, kill this. Kill this. Read message. Oh, it's just sending it back. All right, don't do that. This is what I want. Yeah, we'll just do this. If message is text. Hit me with a print line. Can you do this? Oh, did we already consume it? Oh, okay, that's fine. All right, so don't run that first. When I run this from the Godot side, I can guarantee a specific order. Okay, cool. Neat, so it works. That's annoying. That's annoying, but sure. So when this breaks, then this will also break. Yeah. Which means that I should then try to kill that socket. So let's reset the zoom. It just feels like I have so much more space now. Okay, that's more or less it, right? That's more or less it. All that pain for pretty much no gain at all. All right, there we go. Good enough. I really should check some of these, and then oh yeah, you know what? Undo me. I closed it too soon. I have too many windows open. Sure, reload me. Bring me back to the recycle bin. Give me back the receiver. I messed up. All right, receiver. So I still need to figure out why this is happening, right? So why does this not insert the port correctly? Yeah. I'm curious as to why this isn't working. So we'll just let this die. Okay, just invalid port, huh? Invalid port. Why? Is it because of it's being consumed here? That doesn't make any sense to me. If I just hit it with a format like this. Format. That's not really how that works. Expected string, found string. Can you do that? Inside of there? Yeah, you can't. That's not how you do it. Oh, you can just figure it out. I trust you. No? Expected string, found string. Oh, it's not that. It's the other part. Add string. Sure. I wonder what this is giving me. That is not working. Format must be a... Eh? Alright, just double format me. Okay. Okay. That's kind of weird. That looks right to me. It's only when I... What's the difference between this one and this one? Like this one has a backspace after it, but that should be fine. What? What? I didn't change anything though. It's the same request. Okay, sure. That doesn't make any sense to me, but it's the same thing. I have not changed anything. I guess it's formatted differently, I suppose. So if I were to do it like this, so it's not like a raw string just being sent into it. Yeah, okay, sure. Fair enough. Fair enough. So we go here. Okay, cool. Now we can start deleting stuff, but I guess we'll just hold off on the entire deleting things. Trailing slash, yeah. I guess if you... I don't really know. I'm not sure. Maybe just putting this in without formats wasn't actually doing any string replacements. Maybe that was it. If so, that's my fault. My bad. All right, but this is good enough. So let's do cargo, build, release, or actually it should already be in target, right? Target, release, input forwarder. Yeah, okay, and that should be the release build. So then we'll take this. Why did I double click that like I was going to work? Then we'll go back to doing Godot stuff. Go back to doing Godot stuff. That was like 2 hours of me just bashing my head against the keyboard, hoping it would work. Programming. All right, hotkey. hotkey listener, right? So we just do all of this like that. We'll do all of this in the main project, and then we'll extract it and then make it a Git submodule. Or actually, we'll make it completely optional, just like mouse tracker is optional, since it is a keylogger. Format macro does the replacement magic. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I always forget that format and print line are special. That they do some replacement magic. Otherwise, you need to manually pass in params. Kind of like how Python does it. And so copy, target, release, input forwarder, .exe to vpuppr, resources, extensions. What did I call it? Hotkey listener. Sure, just put it there, I guess. All right, let's also create a new repo. Set virtual public project. We're just calling this input forwarder. Well, input forwarder. Or we could do this like well, no, input forwarder is fine. Forwarder. We'll grab a license from one of the other ones. Meowface license. Progress on this I was going good until I try to add a new page. Time to hit the forums. Well, if you're trying to add a new page, see that's something I'm a bit more. I know what I'm doing. So if you're trying to do that, you want to go to. Well, depends on what kind of page you're trying to do. But you go into the YAML and just add one of these pages here, and then just allow the code generation to take care of the rest. Now, if you're trying to add like a blog post kind of thing, that's a bit different. that you will need to look up a tutorial. Man, if only Golang had good bindings. Like I don't mind the small performance hits. That might be sacrilege. But I'm kind of a programming normie. Git remote add origin. I'm a programming normie that has decided that they don't want to wait for other people. Did I push it yet? Oh, I didn't even push it. Git status. Git commit. Oh wait, hold it. Git add. All git commit init git push u origin master. Golang or Godot-lang? Well, see, Godot is called GD scripts. You don't call it Godot scripts. I guess you could, and people would know what you're talking about. But I feel like if you call it Godot script, it's more like like Godot like 2.0, right? In the old days, just like how when you're talking about, I'm using Angular, you don't say I'm using AngularJS, because actually AngularJS refers to Angular 1. I'm pretty sure they rebranded after like version 2, so then all the newer versions of Angular are just Angular. But AngularJS is like super duper old. And I've had to use that version before somewhat recently. There's a lot of legacy sites. Lots of legacy intranet sites that are still using AngularJS, and they are garbage. And I hate it. Angular is one of my least favorites. One of my least favorite thingamajigs to work with. Might be a hot take though. I'm sure there's worse frameworks out there. But I feel like Angular just kind of forces a certain structure on you, which I don't like. Like, it's nice, I guess. Once you learn how to do Angular, all Angular projects are more or less the same. Whereas if you learn React, it's just like, I don't know, just do whatever they're doing. Like React, you had to bring your own framework, essentially. Bring your own structure. Did AngularJS about 2 years ago after using React. That sucks. Like, it was it AngularJS or Angular? See, that's the real question. hotkey listener. So I do need to add this to the git ignore explicitly. I know you're not supposed to do it like this, but I do this anyways. Hotkey listener. So there's the exe. Really should have it in like a bin folder. Then we'll add a config.toml. So I added toml supports to this because Godot doesn't naturally have toml supports. But this is called extension. So we'll call this hotkey listener. The first one with the weird modules instead of imports. See, that's what I'm saying. Tons of stuff still uses like Angular 1 essentially. All right, so hotkey listener. So I need this to work in the same way that remote control server works, because they're essentially the same thing. Tags, GUI, entry points. Just call it the GUI. Selectable GUI, false. All right, there we go. It was coffee scripts. Man, remember when like just having all kinds of language variants that were easier to use is really popular? Like, remember Groovy? Actually, I'm still surprised by the amounts of projects that still use Groovy. Like, the only big one nowadays is like Jenkins, if you're still running Jenkins, but Jenkins is also kind of like legacy at this point, right? But I'm surprised by how many like Grails projects there still are. It's like, why would you do Grails nowadays? Like, if you're going to run Grails, I guess you might as well just go all the way and just do like Ruby on Rails. Not Ruby on Rails, Groovy on Rails. I've never really thought about it, but those are basically the same name. Is a YAML file that needed to be edited? Yeah. Banks using COBOL still? Yeah, I've used COBOL. I've written COBOL before. Well, it was a COBOL file embedded into our Java application, because sometimes we needed to force the application to sync. It was kind of weird. Well, was it COBOL? It was like some sort of weird structured text. It might not have been COBOL. I actually don't know. It was a big string though that we sent. COBOL on cog. Well, I mean, COBOL is okay. It's one of the languages of all time. That's something I can say for sure. Let me think. So we'll add a GUI here. Extends. Probably just a panel container. And then we'll do this. Honestly, we're just going to do mostly the same thing as with remote control, right? So we'll just start a server, place it at the application roots, and then just let it go, more or less. Yeah, so hotkey listener. So the listener.gd, we'll need that. That's not how you spell listener. That's listener. Listener. Okay, this extends some sort of node because we need this to have a process function. Okay, and then in the init function, you can customize the port that you want to listen on. So some sort of integer, and then we'll also have the PID of the standalone binary. All right, actually my drink is empty. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back. One of the benefits of flipping your living room in your office is that I get to sit, or I'm basically right next to my my kitchen, and also my just office table has turned into my dining table because I'm also a single dude. So I suppose my entire place is like a man cave, I guess. Except for my office, which contains a couch. Contains a couch and all the rest of my musical instruments besides, well, yeah, besides my guitar and keyboard. And also this thing, check this out. Just completely apropos, nothing at all. It's a jaw harp, sometimes called a Jew harp, but it's not like Semitic in any way. It's just because it's French. I'm not really sure what Jew means in French, but apparently that's why it was called a Jew harp. Yeah. What an interesting instrument. What an interesting instrument. You just kind of place it over your lips, open your mouth, and then just kind of like, it's hard to describe, but you kind of like move your lips and your tongue to like manipulate the sound. And then of course you need to pluck the little piece of metal. So whenever you see like professionals playing the jaw harp, not a Freudian slip, that's actually what it's called. Load resource. Yeah, whenever you see professionals playing the jaw harp, it looks like they're making the the suck it motion. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. This is the listener. This is the listener GUI. I'll just call it GUI. Why not? All right, because if you want to play it well, it's actually fairly close to how you would think about playing like a violin, in that you can stop the sound, you can extend the sound. Well, actually, not like a violin at all, right? Because kind of. I guess you can kind of vibrato it. Yeah. Turns out I don't really know what I'm talking about, huh? Sounds a bit like a didgeridoo. So a didgeridoo, yeah, I guess it's somewhat close to a didgeridoo. Maybe. Isn't there both like wind instruments? Kind of. Wind instruments in like the most literal sense, in that there's wind coming out of or it's using the wind that's in your mouth. Like I'm not blowing out, it's just echoing. So load resource. This is the listener. Hold on. This is AMEM get extension. The extension is called hotkey listener, which I thought I told myself I was going to have those all just be stored in the translation keys. So I'm using my Godot's built-in translation manager as I guess like a CMS, which is weird. Jaw harps are fun until you chip a tooth from the misuse. Yeah, I've hit my tooth once, so I'm getting a little. I'm being more careful about playing it. So now I do like full. It's not cat paw. You can't cat paw with your lips, but you know like cat paw when you're chopping stuff, cat paw when you're, but you cat paw when you're with your lips instead, so you protect your teeth. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Maybe I sound like a crazy person. safely wrap. So that's all the Rust stuff, and then we'll change it as needed. And then I implemented this result thing myself because this does the JavaScript thing, or Godot does the JavaScript thing where it just kind of drops values. It will, if it hits an error, it will just try to resolve it at runtime, which is very annoying. Very annoying. Logger new. Play snare, clarinet, recorders. Remix music. Right now I've learned Sonic Pi to make music straight from code. I can play most stringed instruments. I was actually pretty okay at double bass. Because that one's double bass is not super difficult to play. The only hard part about playing double bass is like endurance. Because that thing is heavy. It's heavy and the strings are heavy. And you also need to like move your hand a ton to play it. Whereas violin, not so bad. Guitar, pretty easy. I've never played a fretless guitar though. I would like to play one at some point. Hotkey extension name. All right. To do, change this once translations are in place. Yeah, no, my lungs are absolute garbage, so I can't play any wind instruments. Like I would have loved to learn how to play the saxophone or the trumpet, but lungs are bad. Lungs are bad. So I had to go with the next best thing. You know what? I'm just gonna keep it like this. Sorry. So we get the extension bar extension equals result unwrap. Get that. Fretless is fun, kind of like a double bass where you memorize everything is and see the slur notes. Yes. This is the way. I'm familiar. I know that once you get used to, I guess, the positions, right? Once you learn where all the positions are, it's a lot more intuitive. I know that. Like just like on violin, you start out learning with tapes. But then you know, once you learn where all the positions are, you take the tapes off because the tapes are actually somewhat incorrect. I believe the strings are actually, you're supposed to finger them at an angle. And then you're also supposed to press down on the instrument at an angle as well. What are we talking about? Extension context. So the context is an absolute path, which means that we can then do... Well, actually, do I even need to do this? Can't I do em load resource and then relative path? Oh, you know what? I don't know why I was making this so hard. Let's do it like this. So load resource, hotkey, listener, and then the relative path. So this is bin, what did I call it? Input forwarder.exe. Wait, no, you don't want to do that. I just need the path to it. I just need the path to it. Okay, hold on, undo me. So we do need to still keep this, but then we just need the extension context. Yeah, because all of these things are loaded at runtime, that's right. Easy, sax is easy fingering, hard breath and volume control. Clarinet, easy control, lots of fingering. Subdomain trios, flute, medium, hard breath control. Playing blind, I don't know. How about one of those military trumpets? A bugle? Isn't it like you just get the, you're basically just singing into it? Isn't that how like a bugle works? And then there's like double tonguing and other things. other words that of various sexuality. Yeah, there's your extension. And then what we'll do, OS execute. So I'll need to make this cross-platform later, but we'll just try it right now. So OS executes. We have the context, right? So then this is just do input forwarder. Yeah, so this is actually extremely close to how I implemented OpenCFace. And then WebSocket, but it's currently hard-coded to use WebSocket anyways. We'll listen on 999. Hey. Blocking false, and then we don't take any output. That's right. So then PID is equal to this. We need to save it. Okay. Extension, context. Yeah, and there we go. Then we just check the PID. So if PID is less than 0, so it will always return -1 if it fails to fork. So if PID is less than 0, then logger error failed to execute. Input forwarder. Bugle hard breath control relies heavily on lip and facial muscle control. I figured. I figured. Since you don't have any valves to manipulate anything. I feel like instruments are kind of like programming. Right? Because once you learn like one class of instruments, every other one is just kind of like a different variance of that instrument. So like once you learn how to play one, at least in string instruments, right? So once you learn how to play one string instrument, all the other instruments are more or less just, you know, a viola is just a slightly bigger violin, a cello is just a vertical violin, double bass, really big cello. Like it's not quite the same, but it's the same with like programming, right? The same with programming. You know, C# is just better Java. Now it's when you start getting into like the different programming languages, like Haskell is not a different type of Java. Haskell is kind of its own beast. Rust is almost its own beast. It's very different, you know. It's like, I was about to say it's like playing an erhu, but that's not, no, that's not true. An erhu is just a 2-string cello. Instruments are similar, yes. Using a math are two sides of the same coin. Aren't they like just the same side? They are essentially the same, right? Like, cause I know that music theory is a lot of math, or at least a lot of counting. From what I know from my music theory friends, or I guess my performance arts friends, who I suppose unsurprisingly, you know, not to be super dismissive or whatever, but unsurprisingly didn't go into performing, because like it's really hard to get a seat pretty much anywhere, because it's a job that a lot of people do, but you know, there's not too many places to play, right? You need to basically wait for someone to die or retire, and then you audition for the seats, and then once you get the seat, then you never retire. So most people just go into teaching afterwards. So there's 100% math circle. It fits, tempos, notes. Yeah. I know that. I've done a intro to music theory class, and I thought it was one of the I thought it was really hard. Mostly because like my understanding of music in general is pretty loose. I mostly just play by ear. So exit tree. Guess we'll just do a raw OS kill on the PID and then hope it's good enough. How do I do this for OpenCFace? I think OpenCFace I also just do a raw kill, right? Yeah, I just do a raw kill on it. Okay. That's fine. So there's the listener. So we do that, and then we also need to set up a server. So this is, for now, it's going to be a WebSocket server. Or I guess we could actually manipulate the remote control server from here. Sound and music is just physics class with applications. Yeah, isn't it? Is it like it's like fluid dynamics, right? Something like that, because it's just sound waves and how they interact with other sound waves. So sometimes they resonate nicely, sometimes they don't. I don't know. You think this will just work? Think this will just work? So create a new button. Bar, view box. Well, scroll container. I don't know why I do this the same way. I know that there's a way for me to do this so I can hot load text scene files at runtime. I'm just too lazy to write the logic just yet. Ubox container, new. Control util. H expand fill. Ubox container. No, not fluid dynamics. Waves are its own categories. Aren't waves a type of fluid dynamic? Or is that not true? I thought waves were a type of fluid. Are waves fluid? Our sound, yeah, well, our sound waves, I guess. Sound waves, fluid dynamics. What are they? Sound waves form the basis of compressible fluid flow. Acoustic theory, but yeah, isn't that still fluid dynamics? Yeah, since music is related to math, it can be actually and turned into code. That's where Sonic Pi comes in, having a hard math and music to create sound. Well, yeah, I mean that's just isn't that just where like synthesizers come into play? So you can have a sine wave, saw wave, square wave, etc. And then those just oscillate. All right, so I just need this to start, and then it will, I guess it'll just do its thing, right? So button connect, rest, so. Oh, hello knock. Thank you for redeeming a hydrate. Drink some water. You missed it. I was doing some Rust and I was failing horribly at it. And then as always, someone who knows much more than me comes in to save the day. We're all ducks? That's the lore? Yeah, we're all like secretly ducks, but sometimes we wear other people's skins because, you know, it's kind of a cult after all. Yeah, look at this. Input for... It's actually somewhat surprising like how hard this was for whatever reason. wouldn't help you watch you suffer. Yeah. Well, it's because, did you know that the standard MPSC channel implementation in Rust does not implement sync and send, but Crossbeam does? And I didn't believe them when they were telling me that. And then eventually I capitulated. And as it turns out, they were totally right. Because if you want to bind every single key, so this is a keylogger, right? It's a keylogger. So it connects to a WebSocket. Eventually it will, you know, will actually handle other types of connections like UDP or just sending raw like REST requests. I'm not sure how that would work though. I'm pretty sure that would just overload the receiver. So maybe I won't do it over REST. There we go. Actually drank 500 milliliters that time. I mean HTTP? No, I mean REST. It's using REST verbs. So that's my story and I'm sticking with it. It's a REST request. Is it HTTP? Possibly. Yes. It is HTTP. I guess if we're being technical, it's over TCP. You don't know what REST means? It means representative something state transfer. So actually, most people, when they're using REST, they're actually using it wrong because it's a representative something state transfer, right? But when you send a JSON payload, that's not actually a REST request, even though you might be using a REST verb because the JSON payload is not self-descriptive. So technically, you should only ever be using REST to describe sending like XML or at least HTML because that can describe itself. So you don't know what you mean? No, I do know what I mean. I know this for a fact. I did read a write-up on how everyone is using REST wrong, technically. No, I know I'm not completely wrong there. So, using REST wrong article. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Is this the one? Is this the? No, this isn't the one. I did read another one though. This isn't the one. Hold on. REST is self-describing, yeah. Yeah, so if you send, yeah, exactly. So if you send whatever, right? Like this is my REST request. Is this self-describing? No, it's not self-describing in the least. Like what does ASDF means? It's on the receiver to know what it means. It does not describe itself in the slightest. Right? Just like how like a bulleted list is not self-describing. Like it could be anything. You need to have the additional descriptors tagged onto it to make it restful. REST then? No, because those aren't valid tags. Right. If you do some sort of HTML that's like, I don't know, like li. Hold on, that's not how you do it. Maybe it is how you do it. So list item, you know, ASDF li, then that is more or less self-describing. And then, of course, because it's HTML, then you have to have the HTML tag that describes how to render it. So it's more or less completely standalone. So that is a true REST request. But nowadays, people only use RESTful verbs. Damn you. Nope, I am not wrong. I can assure you I'm not. REST isn't tied to HTML. Yeah, no, it's not tied to HTML. It just needs to be self-descriptive. But HTML is by itself self-descriptive. Which is why it's most commonly associated with REST. This is described by an external specification. Well, okay, if you want to abstract it out, isn't everything dependent on an external specification? So does that mean like just a straight binary is RESTful? right? If I were to just send you assembler, is that RESTful? I don't think so, right? If we're going to take it to a logical extreme, and you know, is assembler RESTful? There is a specification for it described on your processor, so you could take that and run it straight on your processor if you were to bundle it properly, and then it would work. But does that make it RESTful? I don't think so. That's not really what people are talking about, right? If you want to get into like pedantics, like yeah, technically it's all RESTful. But that's not that's not what people are talking about when we're talking about RESTful APIs. Hotkey listener. I think it's just listener. Is that what I called it? Listener? You don't know what self-describing means in this context? I didn't realize web devs don't know what REST is to this extent. No, I mean, that is exactly it. See, you haven't even done REST in years. You're trying to lecture me about it. GraphQL isn't even RESTful because it just sends everything as post. It's not self-descriptive, therefore it can't be REST. Safely wrap. I feel like you're trolling me now. It's a post request. You've discarded pretty much every part of the specification. And now you're just using it to query. In like a weird kind of JSON format. See, that's not RESTful at all. It's just post. It's just post. Now you're just sending data. And it's completely on the receiver to interpret it properly. Alright, so if res is error, return. Oh, then we need to have a logger. Var logger. Where's GraphQL isn't REST? GraphQL is an alternative? Yeah. That's what I said, right? It's not REST. That's what I said. Hotkey listener GUI. REST. You're really serious? Yeah, that's what I said, right? It's not REST. It's not RESTful. Is there an issue? Aren't we both on the same page there? Question mark. It's an alternative to REST, which means it's not RESTful. It can't be RESTful. If it's an alternative, it's not RESTful then. If it's an extension, then that means it would be RESTful. Isn't RESTful as such as it's not. Like you're using a REST verb, post, because all GraphQL requests are post except for gets, right? Which gives you the structure of the whatevers. Car isn't a plane. I mean, that's true. I mean, it's a true statement, yes. Pass, not gonna let this do it. Okay, sure. Guess I'm confused about the GraphQL thing. I thought we were on the same page there. To load listener, then we'll var listener, and then we just add this to whatever. There's some sort of node, right? So res unwrap, and then get tree, add child listener. Oh wait, hold on. This is a script. Oh no, just pass in a port. Add child listener, whatever. This goes here. This just immediately inits itself, and then we'll just leave it hanging, I guess. Yeah. So this starts a thing, and then we also need to start the WebSockets server. So there's a lot of hard-coded bits here so far. So hard-coded to use WebSockets. All right, I need to take this out. Hold on. No. I'm dumb. WebSocket server. We'll call it server. I could use the other WebSocket server that I already have, but that's like for another very specific purpose, as in it just goes over, it listens for arbitrary inputs. So you could have like a web app that communicates to this local thing. Whereas this is more specifically for the use of vpuppr. So vpuppr does the OpenCFace thing. Yeah, that still makes sense. Input forwarder, which contains a keylogger. Input forwarder also starts a WebSocket client. Keylogger communicates over the WebSocket client to the WebSocket server, which is started by the extension. So the extension starts the input forwarder, which is its own separate process, and then starts a WebSocket server, which is just run on a thread. Yes, okay, cool. That makes sense. WebSocket server, new. All right, so a lot of things still need to be made. All right, thread, process, exit tree, whatever. Receive. Hello, hello. Hello, Renpona. Wait, Renpona, you are on the VTube Studio server, right? And then yeah, right? I feel like your name looks familiar. Which reminds me, I do need to ping that person again, Denchi, and see how I can get VTube Studio hooked up. Build VTube Studio plugins. Oh, neat. I did not know that. So while should stop. Yeah, VTube Studio. I know that they're doing like an NVIDIA thing, and then there's also an H2D, which is also maybe doing an NVIDIA thing. So there's enhanced rendering or whatnots. So it seems cool, I guess. Seems cool. Let's delay. Milliseconds, I don't know, probably just 100. Why not? And then server. So the PID is separate. This is the binary PID, and then everything else runs here. Yeah, might have to give him an actual ping. He's been preoccupied with the beta for the new tracking system. Yeah, I've been somewhat preoccupied as well. I was working on a little game, kind of in my downtime. I was also playing lots of Genshin Impact because I'm just a total degenerate. So here's the idea, right? So if you have you played Backpack Hero? That's a good game, or at least for the initial character. The other characters are just, I don't know, it's just too much. It's actually a bit too complicated. Like, I get it, you know, there's lots of mechanics. Backpack Hero doesn't ring a bell. It's a somewhat big indie hit. Let me see. Oh, don't look at my Steam stuff. Oh no. Anyways, here's Backpack Hero. Basically, you're a hero. You're dungeon diving, and you have a backpack. You have energy, so it's like a card battler, but instead of having cards, you just have everything in a backpack, and then you just tap on things to attack, and then there's synergies based off of where things are located in your backpack, etc., etc. Yeah. So I figured out how to make one of my game ideas actually make sense. I was like, wait a minute. What if we just do it kind of like how Backpack Hero does it with the energy system? Because I had something similar. It's like a cross between, I guess, FTL in the sense that I guess you don't directly like you can position your units, but you don't like directly attack your opponents, right? But I was still trying to figure out like how do you make it like intuitive. Like every single build I made of it just did not feel good to play. I was like, wait a minute, we just do it energy with, so you have energy, blah blah, so it's closer to like a card system, like a Slay the Spire. And then you have, I guess, still like formation synergies and stuff. So I was working on that. Anyways, what was I doing? Server. We always do need to pull. This one, very similar. Where is it? Server pull. And then we need to have a connection. Yeah, but Backpack Hero, I would recommend checking it out. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It is like somewhat expensive though. If it ever goes on like sale to like $5, I think that's 100% worth it. $10 I think is like a fair price, but I think like its non-sale price is actually, how much is it? I looked at it and then just completely forgot. It's an indie game though, so I'm always for it. 4.5 hours. Yeah, it's $17. But then again, I did get like I played a lot of the first character, and then the other characters are just too complicated, so maybe I would have got my money's worth if I played through the other characters. I don't know. Like I think if you're really into Factorio, I feel like some of the other characters might be a little bit more fun. I have a more of a unga bunga approach to card battlers, where I latch onto the first synergy I see and then I just go all in. I'm really into Factorio. Yeah, I'm really into Factorio until I get past like, what is it? It's green research. Is it green? It goes red, green, blue, right? Or is it green, red, blue? Or is it just green, red? I don't remember. Because after a certain point, I'm just like, I don't understand how my factory works. I don't understand how my factory works anymore. And at this point, I'm too scared to ask. So then, like, I just slowly start losing. It's a bad time all around. All right, so. Actually, do I need to pull if I have a WebSocket server? I've never really thought about that. Oh, you need to listen. So you listen on the server, that's fine. All right, so we server listen on ports 9999, so that's hard-coded. Then here, pull. Oh, and then you'll get the signals. That's right, that's right. I should start doing oil and stuff. I should turn off enemies since they're just annoying when I want to build all the time. I don't know. I like the idea of enemies, if only because it forces me to actually plan ahead. Or I guess it's more of like a distraction, right? Because I know, at least for me, when I'm, you know, doing thinking intensive tasks, I have a tendency to like basically death spiral. I'll get caught in like a feedback loop of like what happens if this happens, what happens if this happens. So I need something to, you know, to dig me out of the hole. All right, how did I do this for remote control server? WebSocket. Oh, that's so gross. Okay, on. Or actually, maybe I don't even need to do this. Maybe I could just send it. Maybe I could just send it. And then refactor my remote control server to actually handle it properly. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, 'cause I don't really feel like re-implementing the entire thing. All right, let's do that. Because I already have the code here. I just need to change a few bits, or at least since I'm just debugging, right? I just need to add a few print statements and then just make sure everything is copacetic. So client connected, doesn't matter. It'll connect, yeah, I don't know. What does this look like? This GUI is probably fine. Oh, hold on. VBox add child button. Yeah, enemies in Factorio, they're a nice distraction. Because I need the distraction. So send this. So this is how we get remote control stuff working. I'm going to change the default model to the duck. This is just called GUI, which is not right. Presets. Godot. No Godot. Give me the duck. Here's the GUI. Okay. So hopefully this will work. It might not work. All right. Unable to load listener. That's good. Resource file not found. Resource is extension, hotkey listener. What? Hold on. Where? Yeah, that's right. So load raw, load resource. Here. Load resource. Oh, that's right. Okay. Because that's not how you're supposed to do it. This should be bin. What did I call it? Bin. Input forwarder.exe. Wait, no. It's just listener.gd. And then listener.gd loads in all its stuff for me. That's right. All right, load in the duck again, and then I need to set it as default. This is something that needs to be refactored. It's been mentioned to me that refactoring this so that it's more of a, it's all these options on the left are instead like tiles, and then they have little tile previews. That's way better. And then you have all this other information, right? All this kind of wasted negative space can be just packed into a horizontal bar on the bottom. Yeah, I think that would be, it would look a lot nicer. It'd be easy to figure out which preset goes to what, etc., etc. So that's on the list of things to do. And at least for that, I think I have an idea of what I have to do there. Okay, fail to execute input forwarder. All right, error can't fork. That's right. So we can do this. All right, we're also going to be leaking some nodes. That's fine. All right, so what is this? Just hit me with a print. Ooh, that might not have worked. All right. Resources, extensions, hotkey listener, input forwarder. No, that's right. Right? Hotkey or hotkey listener. Oh, it's in bin. It's in the bin. All right, now we have leaked some memory. That's fine though. It's the bin. There we go. So we load this. Go to GUI. Start. I actually don't really know what's happening in the background. Because I forgot to start the other stuff. So let's start it again, because I didn't write in any logic for starting the WebSocket server. Yeah, so this is listening on 9999. So then I'll change this. All right, and just hit me with a logger debug data. That's fine for now. Start you. That's probably running, yeah. Stopped, started. Okay, then we go here, which is still named incorrectly. Start. I don't know if it's running or not. All right, that's unfortunate. Is it running? It's probably running. Yeah, it's running with a PID of 4756. It's possible that it just crashed though. Can I see it? How do I find a specific PID in Windows? Are they over here? PID? Or does PSaux work on in Bash? PSAUX. No. Okay. Well, I tried. Let me see. It's using almost no CPU at all, right? Because it's just broadcasting service. There's JetBrains logging whatever it's logging. I never use the JetBrains suites. Mostly because I only have JetBrains installed on this computer, but I don't use it anywhere else. So in order to not like overly spoil myself, I intentionally don't use the advanced tooling. Yeah. Is it not running, or did it just die? There's OBS Studio. Yeah, OBS is encoding a bunch of stuff. Somewhat surprising that facetracker.exe is not using all that much. Yeah. Facetracker.exe is only using like 2% CPU, but I do have a pretty beefy CPU, so I guess that doesn't matter. Yeah. Do you think this will show up here? Does it like show its proper name? Okay, I do have a lot of Godot engine processes running. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, there's input forwarder. Yeah, so it is just there, and it's as a sub-process of Godot, which means if I kill it, my CPU, it takes up around 30%. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird how, or it's not weird, it's tough how most trackers on Windows are completely CPU bound. Okay, so that didn't work quite as I expected. i5 10200. I have a 57 something, maybe a 58. I have a 58X, a Ryzen 7 5800X. 8 cores. 8 physical cores, 16 total. Oh baby. It's probably being kneecapped though by the fact that it's you know, Spectre and Meltdown mitigation patches. This just occurred to me. Can't I just do this? So if I go to input forwarder, so we hit it with a cargo run release WebSocket 9999. Oh yeah, see now it actually connects, and then I should be able to just type here. Oh yeah, yeah, look at that. Yeah, so invalid data received. But we are able to grab it. So for whatever reason, I'm not able to start the process from Godot. Which means that this now dies, right? Yeah. Because I'm not handling any of that stuff. All right, so what's happening here? So the listener, blah, blah. Right, so when you call OS executes, it should just be running those things. So how do I execute OpenCFace? Yeah, OpenCFace, I do the same thing. And then I don't even need to pass. Well, I mean, I do need to pass arguments, but I don't need to pass them as flags, right? So why isn't this working? And I'm not able to get any input either. Fail to execute input forwarder. That's weird. I feel like this should be valid, right? Because otherwise I would get an error saying that it's not able to fork the process. But it's giving me back a PID, which means that it is like doing a thing. Input forwarder. That's what it's called. Input forwarder. .exe bin WebSocket 9999. If PID is less than 0, because Godot will give me back -1 if it fails to fork. System shell. Blocking is false. Godot thread will continue while the new process runs. That's right. Not possible to retrieve the shell output in non-blocking mode, so output will be empty. That's right. Wait. Open console? Maybe I should do that, just so I can get some additional debug logs. So read standard. That's not right. Right. Hold on. So it's path, args, blocking. Yes. Outputs. We don't need any. Read standard error. False. Open console. Please open this to the console so I can see what's going on. So I know that this will immediately explode, right? If the WebSocket server is not already running. Is it just blocked? Yeah, no, see, it's running, but I'm not able to connect anything here. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. So why isn't this connecting? Or is it because... Why does this work like externally, right? So if I start this from here, then we connect, and then Godot is actually able to grab the input from there, right? And then we can kill this. Huh. Why is that? So what's the difference? Like, it should be trying to connect to localhost. Huh. Right? There's no difference, right? If we go here and I just execute it, shouldn't I just crash? No? Connection WebSocket ports 9999. Hello world. Oh wait, hold on. Is it because there's something on standard error that I should be seeing? That's not how this works. That's not how that works. Okay. We kill that, and then that kills that process as well. Why doesn't this work? Like, it works when it's standalone, which is expected, right? And it's also passing in the correct variables. So if I were to do, like, I don't know, just pass in some garbage, it's not even reading this value, by the way. It should be, though, or I should be doing that. Yeah, connection ASDF port 9999. 9999, yeah. What if I do this? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, the best port. I have to. I think that there's something that's failing. I just don't know what. Like, I think it's dying somehow. It's not being passed these arguments as expected, maybe. So what if I do... So WebSocket, like, that doesn't matter. But do I need to pass it, like, standard in? It's like, no, that's not how you do that. That's not how you do it, because it's executing on CMD. So if I open up CMD, go to dev, virtual puppet project, input forwarder, CD targets, release, dir, input forwarder, exe. Isn't it? Oh, that's not how you spell it. That's not how you spell it. Inputs dash forwarder dot exe, and then this should fail, yeah. And then WebSocket 9999. Wait a minute. No, that's fine. Huh? What? Okay, so I keep this open here. Go to Godot, start the remote control server. Then start this again. Oh, that's interesting. No, I actually don't know. Why doesn't this work? So this makes sense now. So if you try to execute this in CMD, you cannot pass arguments? How do you pass arguments in CMD? Do I need to specify standard in? CMD pass arguments to exe, yes. What? But it's not connecting though. Right? Like when I run this via bash, it connects. But when I run this via CMD, it does not connect. However, I cannot guarantee, well, I don't know. What if I run this via PowerShell? Input forwarder, target, release, and then input forwarder. So this server is still running. Okay, yeah. So we can pass in some garbage. Let's not pass in garbage this time. Just 9999. Yeah, see, I'm not able to yeah, so I'm able to get input there, but this is not working. Actually, how about in bash? So if we do target, release, input forwarder, input.exe, WebSocket. Oh, interesting. I think. So start the server again. Maybe it's just because there's too much garbage? Huh. 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 I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Why does this work like this then? Yeah, what the heck? See, now it's connected. And then it disconnected, and then we can run it again. And we can connect again. And then we start logging. Yeah, what? Wait, what? So do I need to do this? Like I need to do the bash thing like this? No. What? What's the difference? What's the difference? So this is cargo run. That's fine. Get out of here, cargo run. We don't want you. What? Why does this only work when I run it with cargo run? But if I run the exe directly, it does not connect. I feel like this is something really easy. I'm just missing something. So this is clearly false, right? But why doesn't this work? Or is it because I'm just not able to connect to anything? So if I kill this, open up input forwarder again. I suppose I should be handling the response, but that shouldn't make any difference, right? Because Alec, what am I looking at, Alec? Response. This is some sort of response. I guess we can check the response. Or I guess print line. Why not? Just print line the response. Pretty prints me. Or I don't know, just hit me with response like that. That's my favorite. Maybe I'm not allowed to do that. Oh yeah, okay. Body. Okay. Actually, I've never really thought about this. Does this implement display? Can I do that? Yeah, you can't do that. All right, that's fine. Cargo, build, release. All right, then send me again. Yeah, it's just getting stuck. It gets stuck somewhere. Cargo run release. Yeah, see? And then it actually gets past that point. So it's getting it's somewhere here that it's getting stuck, but I'm not sure why it gets stuck here. In only in release mode. When I run it via cargo, it works as expected. But I'm running it in release mode. So cargo run release should be building and then just running the binary, right? And then it's clearly getting the connection because it does this correctly. Build problems are the worst problems? Yeah, I'm very confused. Because the only other thing I can think of doing is just adding more print lines. Because I don't want to attach a debugger because I'm lazy. Created channels. Well, channels as in message channels, right? Cargo build release. Yeah. So it's something in the release build that's just blowing up. Yeah, okay, so it's not able to create the channels. Problems with the most, yeah. Website overhaul almost ready. Oh baby. And then there is a website for vpuppr, vpuppr. What a great website name. It's very boring right now, but that's because I just ran it really quickly through Hugo. So, oh baby. All it has are just downloads and source. There's technically a search bar, and I think it's also technically reactive, so you can do something like this. Something like this. It's like a mobile view. Wow. Look at that. So it's not able to create a sender receiver. Right? Hold on. No, it is. It's just not printing anymore. Which is, I guess, somewhat expected. When we do this, then we get all the output that we're expecting. But I'm assuming that's because of Cargo doing some special stuff. Fraction-based sizing. Fractional sizing. I'm gonna try reading on mobile. Is it? I think it looks fine on my phone, but I've maybe it's just because I have a mainstream Samsung. At least the last time I checked, it looked fine. vpuppr. Yeah, it looks fine to me, except for the fact that the search menu option is slightly offset. But I also have I prefer smaller phones. Maybe if you just have like one of those giant honker phones, it looks fine. Frictionless would be building mobile first. The loads on frictionless? Is that a term? Frictionless? Friction-based sizing? What is friction-based sizing? Fractional, right? Friction-based sizing. Fraction. Fractional. Friction? I wonder if it's because maybe I should just have this set to 1, like a kappa 1. Like it still doesn't make a difference. Yeah, like this will always work, and then we can do this. You're always just kind of receiving stuff, so we can type. Kill this, and then we can run. Yeah, see, we never get past creating the channels. I have no idea why though. Testing my phone over localhost. Make sure the mobile looks okay. Oh, the only thing I ever do to test mobile layouts is basically what I would just did, which is just resize the window and make it real small. I don't know. What if we just make this unbounded? But it doesn't really matter, right? Because we're immediately reading and writing anyways. Yeah. So, I guess it's not able to get alt. Maybe alt is like a weird key. We can get these keys. That key doesn't work. Windows doesn't work. Right shifts, enter. That's actually kind of weird how like the alt keys aren't immediately picked up. Is that something I need to manually bind? I'd rather not. But yeah, this works, right? That works. But then if I run it like this, I'm not able to get any input at all. But this is it's still picking it up. It's like it's getting stuck in the connection somewhere, which is causing me to just very slowly lose my mind because I know I know it works. It's just not working here. Is there client connected? Yeah, no. See, whenever a client connects, I also get one of these, right? I get a notification here that a client connected. Here. So client disconnected, and then there's client connected. So disconnected and connected, roughly the same thing. So why is this only working when I run it through cargo? Like, what is cargo run doing? What does cargo run do? Like, what specifically? I know what it does, but what does it do specifically? Cargo run, yes. Like, but what is it doing under the hood? Run a binary example of the local package. All the arguments following the 2 dashes are passed to the binary to run. If you're passing arguments to both cargo and the binary, the ones after dash dash go to the binary. The ones before go to cargo. Yep, I know this. Display options, no. Common. Yeah, but like, what does it do? Yeah, like what is it specifically doing? Because there's something that's being lost here. What does specifically? To be honest, LogRocket has some good blogs. I've read several of their things, and at least some of their Rust stuff is pretty easy to follow for me. We don't need profiles. I don't care about that. Okay, that's completely useless. You know what? Thanks for making me look like a fool, LogRocket. I really didn't need your help. I do that enough by myself. Cargo build. Cargo build. Run that executable. I'm losing my mind. What's the difference between cargo build and cargo run? All right. Difference between cargo build and run. All right, yeah. The difference between cargo run and launching exe. That's exactly what I want to know. Yeah. It works correctly as long as you use cargo run. Yes. But running the program from the exe file. Yeah. And there's no answer. Okay. This person is running into the same problem, but there's no answer. And then this is not what I'm running into. Let's see. Is it 32-bit? Well, it shouldn't. Wait, no. That shouldn't make a difference, right? You can run 32-bit applications on a 64-bit. The only you just cannot run 64-bit applications on a 32-bit system. Input forwarder.exe. Yeah, it's x86-64. I don't know. I'm starting to run out of ideas. Target release. When were these compiled? So this was compiled at Am I stupid? I think I'm really dumb. Wait a minute. I'm an idiot? Hold on. I'm so mad. I'm mad. It's not input forwarder, it's sender. All right. You know what? That makes a lot of sense. I've been running the wrong binary. So input forwarder was before I created the second binary for the test. But oh my god, okay. acknowledge it's my fault, but I'm still kind of mad about that. It makes sense though. I've been running the wrong one. So input forwarder was the old binary before I split them into sender and receiver, where receiver is just for testing the WebSocket connection. So vpuppr, resources, extensions, hotkey, bin, sender.exe, sure. And then under Godot, go into resources, hotkey, listener. So this is now just a sender. And then rm vpuppr resources extensions hotkey bin input forwarder. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we start this. Remote control server starts. Go to here. Starts. Okay, so now it's working as expected. And I think it's better that it displays. Okay, so that's more or less working. Now I just need to change one thing or the other. I think the input forwarder should still be sending like raw keys. I think that's for the best. Yeah, I think it's for the best that I just send raw keys. And then on the vpuppr side, I will have to write some custom logic to transform those into like real inputs, I guess. I think I can still use the remote control server though. I just need to think about, I guess how I'm gonna do that. Yeah, but it cleans itself up, which is nice. Yeah, not the most productive I've ever been. Let's be honest. Actually, I'm pretty sure all of this stuff, just could have just left it like this. No change is needed. So if I just undo, let's undo this. We'll change the cargo toml so it's not as confusing. Input forwarder. Yeah, you're allowed to do this, right? No? No. Hit. Oh, right. Input forwarder. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So hit me with a cargo clean. Who's using the process? Who's using this? Who's there? Oh, it's you. Exit. Cargo build release. Then we'll go to recycle bin. No, we'll go to vpuppr. Resources, extensions, hotkey listener bin. Get rid of the sender. And then copy target release input forwarder exe to vpuppr resources extension hotkey. Yeah, there we go. Change this back to this. All right. Turns out I'm just dumb. So this works as expected. We can kill everything, and then everything cleans up as expected as well. Now the hard part is figuring out how do I guess, inject my own script into here. Like it would, like maybe this would be the default handler, basically, is that it would just listen for like properly formatted messages over WebSocket, over UDP or otherwise, right? But then also, man, that just seems kind of weird. That seems kind of jank. Like allowing me to replace it with like my own function pointer. I mean, it's not that weird, but thinking. I'm thinking. So I could split this out into its own thing here. So this is like the handle data, essentially. He's doing it. Against my better judgment, I'm doing it. Server handler. And then it just runs the handler. Yeah, that's right. The GUI determines which handler it actually uses. Yes, listener type, blah, blah. Start server, stop server. Yeah, so then it loads in the appropriate scripts. I feel like there's no reason to make it even more complicated. You know what? Yeah, there's no reason to make this even more complicated. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're not going to touch this then. I'll just have to rip out the implementation and replace it with basically a duplicate one, right? I'm not super happy about that. But otherwise, I'm not sure how else to do it. Well, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Listener type pressed. Oh, these are all by index, and then I match directly on the index. That's right. Yeah, okay. Listener types, and then it's all indexed. There's no paths stored on those specific values. Okay. Yeah, I'll just have to re-implement it. Luckily, there's only two things to really handle it here, right? There's only WebSocket and UDP. Yeah. There's only two possibilities, both of which are pretty easy. I know there's a way for me to integrate with this, but I mean, I guess there really is only the one option right now for remote control server, though. Which means, like, it's going to have to be kind of re-implemented anyways. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Start server. I'm confused. Yeah, let's just keep it separate for now. There's no reason to overcomplicate it. If there's some duplication, then there's some duplication, right? Oh, but I'm also like super overtime. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'll be live. What did it say? Thursday? I'll be live Sunday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, working on this again. This is like the last thing that needs to be done before probably like a beta. Or if it's stable enough, I might just send it. You know, that's the 9.0 right there. Yeah, because I know that there are efforts already underway to implement VRM 1.0, but that's only being done on Godot 4, which means I do need to get my butt into gear and start porting to Godot 4 as well, which is unfortunate. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll be live Sunday 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Check out this project on GitHub. I have all this stuff here. My bot's dead. That's not surprising. But, you know, check it out there. Give me stars. There's a Discord somewhere. You can find it on the page. Everything's just on the page. I stream Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Wednesdays from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, and thank you very much, Xerxes, Zar, XAR, for the follow, by the way. Didn't know you're still here. But yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Goodbye.